Good morning and welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We are going to break down the report from the People's Insider, Pretty Rickey, that the Cowboys are interested, although not the frontrunners, to trade for Commanders running back Brian Robinson. Before we dive into that, it is an at-home style video because it's the off day for me because we got the Cowboys game on Friday, which we will be live for. Because this is an at-home unplanned video, there will actually be 3 Cowboys videos today. We'll have the Brian Robinson trade update here. We'll have preview, mailbag as well. So great time of the year to make sure your notifications are on. Otherwise, you will miss out on videos. There's going to be a lot of content here on the Cowboys Report because there's a lot to discuss around Dallas with consistent updates, roster moves coming, all that good stuff. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those noties are set. I'll appreciate every single one of you who is a part of the Noti gang here at the Cowboys Report. All right, this is the scoop from the People's Insider, Pretty Rickey. Initially, he had tweeted out, hey, the Dolphins are the front runners to land Brian Robinson, which then I had quote tweeted with, out of frustration, stop hoarding running backs, Miami. How about you give us Jalen Wright? Wright has actually not been great in the preseason for Miami. They've got injuries to Javonte Williams and Alexander Madison, but they still have Ollie Gordon and Wright. The most recent update from Pretty Rickey, a.k.a. Slick Rick, a.k.a. Ricky Scoops, is that the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Texans are also all interested in Brian Robinson, but the Dolphins are considered the front runners. We had mentioned Brian Robinson on a previous video on the Cowboys because I do have interest in adding him. I think adding a running back who... there's a reason he's available. He's not an elite level back, but I think you can make a fantastic argument. Would be your best back on the roster, as we haven't really seen Jaden Blue, but would fit really well with Jaden Blue. I think that is a logical move for the Cowboys. And this is in the rumors category because it's Rickey and it's not 100%. It's like it's Schefter or Rapp saying it necessarily. So you always want to acknowledge it as a rumor, though. He was first on the George Pickens trade. Everyone seems to forget that sometimes. And other moves too. So it is in the rumors category. I acknowledge that. I do trust Rickey. He's got a lot of good stuff right in the past, and I find him credible. If you have concerns, I get that. That's fair. I would almost be willing to take the, how do I phrase this? Just take the small victories of, hey, the Cowboys at least expressed interest in it. That almost feels like a win, even if it's not a win. It's, hey, you did something positive. This is the type of player they should at least have interest in. I don't think the cost is going to be crazy expensive, and that's always the issue for Dallas. Maybe the intra-division trade actually does raise some concerns here from the Commanders' perspective and makes it a little bit less likely. But I do like the fact that the Cowboys are actually seemingly involved in this one. So more to come, but would you trade for Brian Robinson? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Would you trade for Brian Robinson? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's show. All right, more on Robinson. Look, the production isn't elite. This is not someone who I think is going to be an elite level back or anything along those lines, but he did average 4.3 yards per carry. He had 8 touchdowns last year. That's more than the entire Cowboys running back room had combined. 187 for 79 yards is 26th in carries, 27th in yards, and average among players in that area is pretty similar since, the carries and yards are almost identical there. I think he is an above replacement level back. And I'm excited about Jaden Blue. I don't think he's ever going to be a true full-time. Brian Robinson's had 205, 178, 187. I don't know if Jaden Blue has the body type to hold up at that level of workload. But he pairs really well with Brian Robinson. It'd be a short 1-year rental, $3 million or something like that and change. That's more than doable for this Cowboys organization. I think he's better right now than Miles Sanders is. I think there are concerns about Robinson, even though his yards per carry have gone up each season, that, the Commanders kind of phased him out of the offense. He's really kind of lost the job a little bit there. But he was better than Javonte Williams was last season. I think Robinson as a power runner, the Thunder to Jaden Blue's Lightning, as a year rental actually makes a ton of sense for the Cowboys. The other teams that are involved, they make sense too, right? We'll talk about them, the Niners, the Texans, Miami. But I would be calling about Brian Robinson because I think in the end he'd help you a lot. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Preseason football is underway. College football is here, so don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. It's simple. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in up to 2,000 times your money. It's available in more than 40 states: California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Keep an eye out for their, I'll call them bonuses essentially. The max discounts. It's Dak Prescott more than a half passing yard in week 1 of the season. Put in all your Prize Picks slates. You're kind of insane to not do it on that front. College football is here. You can do a little Prize Picks action on that front too. So go download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. If you were to trade for Brian Robinson, you probably wouldn't keep Miles Sanders on this. I think you actually would probably keep Javonte Williams. I think your running backs would be obviously Hunter Lipke. I think Javonte could be kind of still one of your third down pass protecting options. Robinson becomes your power back. And then Jaden Blue is your explosive, big play, can do some pass catching stuff, change of pace scat back. And I think you probably drop Javonte Williams down to like RB3. They're kind of more clearly defined roles. And you guys know I'm a Deuce Vaughn fan because it's fun and he's our small king. I don't think anybody in their right mind, even Deuce's dad, is going to say that Brian Robinson is worse than Deuce Vaughn. I don't think anyone's going to say Miles Sanders is better than Brian Robinson. So it's just it's how this works. You should have interest in adding a back. I think your running back room is not very good. I think you should go out and try to acquire some additions there. Now, what the cost looks like, when you've got multiple teams involved, I am curious what it ends up checking in at. I was very surprised at how expensive the wide receiver trade market ended up being last night, with Devon Vele getting a 4th-round pick back when he's older than CeeDee Lamb, has spent 1 year in the NFL and didn't outproduce Jalen Tolbert, was shocking to me. So I don't know if that has a direct impact on the Robinson trade market, but it is worth mentioning. So what draft pick would you give up for Brian Robinson? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. I still think in the end that answer is day 3 pick. Somewhere in that range is all it ends up costing you is, a 5th at the most probably, or a 6th, and it's kind of like the Harrison Phillips trade of a 6th and some day 3 pick swaps in the future. Should be doing your due diligence on that front. All the teams linked make sense. Miami's banged up at running back. I don't think they're in love right now with Jalen Wright. The Texans are banged up, and Nick Chubb, we'll see what he's got left in the tank. Woody Marks is kind of in the Jaden Blue, 3rd down, scat back, change of pace guy. He's not ever going to be a full-time guy. Joe Mixon is not going to be ready for week 1, so that one certainly stands out. The Niners are insanely banged up at running back. They just might need someone else to get in there and help survive the season, because you can't actually give Christian McCaffrey every single carry and every single touch, although it would be kind of funny if the Niners ended up doing that for fantasy people at least. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I would not be surprised if at some point in the coming days that we get more details, and the trade is going to happen to somebody. The Commanders didn't make him play in the preseason game. They excused him from practice. This is, that relationship is done. They're clearly going to trade him. So he's not a long-term solution. He's not some elite level back. This is not like you're getting Derrick Henry or something. But I think he helps you, and I like to see the Cowboys linked to them credibly, because I think that is what smart teams should be doing. So make sure you're subscribed, note he's on, and we'll see what happens.